Welcome to the Damascus Encounter, your regular program where we share and bring wonderful testimonies of what God has done and what Jesus is doing in the lives of his children. The Bible talks about the story of Daniel, how he purposed in his mind not to eat of the king's portion. And for his faithfulness, God brought many blessings his way. So much that what became of him at the end of the day, he couldn't have imagined. When we take decisions not to do something because of our faith in God, God blesses us. I have with me in the house today, Ishaya Zachariah, who will be sharing with us his story of how he started out, purposed in his mind not to walk on the Sabbath, and how God has led him every step of the way. Ishaya Zachariah, welcome to Damascus Encounter.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on this other side of the divide.
Thank you very much.
You have interviewed many people.
Yeah.
And you've been used to asking questions.
Yeah,
Today you get to answer questions.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your background growing up and who Ishaya Zachariah is.
I'm from the northern part of Nigeria.
Okay.
From a family of 5.
Okay.
But I was told that I am not the firstborn.
Okay.
That I am the 6th born. But 5 of my siblings died.
Oh, wow.
Before my birth. And I became the firstborn because others were lost. And the 5 of them died. I wouldn't say due to sicknesses, but that they don't last for up to a week. After the birth, after a few days, and all the 5 are boys.
Wow.
They will die. So when the last born died, the last one that died before my birth, my father was a drunkard. And then that he went, got drunk, came back, and slept at the backyard. And then his son died and was buried without even him knowing. Because nobody knows he's at the backyard. He came back late, he was drunk, until his son was buried. So, people cautioned him, why are you living this kind of life? Such that your son, you did not even witness the burial of your son. So that put some sense into him. And it was at that time that the Seventh-day Adventists visited that community to do evangelism.
Okay.
So he went, attended the evangelism, and that was where he got converted. And he became a Seventh-day Adventist. And so he came back and became a very good Christian. And that was when that period was when my mother conceived and they gave birth to me.
Okay.
And so afterwards, my other siblings that came behind me were all alive. We are 4 boys, 1 girl.
Okay.
But I lost one of them. That's our 4th born. I lost him in 2008. So we are 5. That's just a little bit of my family background.
Okay, and yeah, quite a touching background and interesting way that God brought you into the world. And it's interesting to know that soon afterwards, everyone that came lived.
Yeah.
So you are son of a mission worker.
Yeah.
So we might as well call you missionary. And today you work for the church.
Yeah.
Do you want to open up on when you started thinking of working for God?
When my father left the village to the city for greener pastures, where he landed was in the church premises
Of the Seventh-day Adventist
of the Seventh-day
Church?
Adventist Church.
Okay.
And he was employed to be like the gardener who takes care of the environment of the church.
Campus.
And so I grew up with my father. I just saw myself like in the church environment, doing church work. And all through my life, I just find myself doing things in the church. In fact, at a point, I became like the florist of the church.
Okay.
That was during my primary school days. Take care of the flowers in the church, go in the morning, water them. It's not that we are staying in the church compound.
Okay.
But that is what I do every day. I go, water the flowers, and ensure that they are flourishing well. And after my high school, I now found out that I will come in the morning to look for money from my father. I need money for this. And I see my younger ones coming too. And I said, why should I be coming to seek for money from my father when I am old enough? I'm out of high school. At least I should fend for myself.
To do something.
So, the idea, people will come, your way of presentations in church, you are a very good presenter. Why don't you go to one of the radio stations around, apply, and be doing programs there? You know, advice from people started coming. But I told them, I have a challenge with that. And my challenge is going to work on Sabbath.
All right.
There's no how I will go there and then will not work on Sabbath. And the media houses then were finding, they look for people who will work as maybe volunteers. But they look at weekends to fix you in those shifts on weekends for you to work.
Yeah.
And I said, I cannot afford not going to church and be in the studio to be presenting programs. And more so, that the kind of programs I will be presenting or that will be allocated to me are not gospel programs. And that will make me do things or say things that are against my faith. So I decided I won't go there. So I picked up the challenge. I told my mom one morning, I told her, I have been in the conference headquarters for a long time. And I've seen how people, pastors and literature evangelists do their work. I will become a literature evangelist. Just for me to have that freedom of worship.
Okay.
I grew up in the youth ministry. If I become a literature evangelist, it's like I'm self-employed. I don't need permission from my employer to attend any youth camporee.
And not to be at work on Sabbath.
On Sabbath. So she told me, are you sure you can do this? I said, sure, I will. I enrolled, and all through the years, I started the literature evangelism in 1995.
Okay.
I started in 1995 up till 2004 before I switched to another ministry of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, but not the literature evangelism.
Okay, so is it safe to say then that when you came into, going into the literature evangelist ministry was all about being able to raise funds, get money, and of course not working on the Sabbath, but then for the sake of the money, what you being able to fend for yourself, that's what led you.
I worked as a literature evangelist purposely because, one, I don't want to be asking my father for money.
For money, okay.
I just needed to take care of myself. And when there is promotion, the literature evangelist, maybe the publishing director come to do promotions for people to join the ministry.
Yeah.
They always encourage the youth to join the ministry because, one, you will not be a burden to your parents. You will be self-employed. You don't need to be begging people to come to your aid financially. So that was one of the motivating factors for me to go into it, because I will be self-employed and make my own money without depending on my parents. And then I'll be able to assist my parents or support them financially
Taking care of the home front.
help raise my younger ones too.
Okay.
So that was what actually took me in there.
So you worked as literature evangelist for how many years?
1995 to 2004. That's 9 years.
9 years.
Yes.
And what was your experience like? The 9 years literature evangelism helping to support, and then your dream about going to school.
Literature evangelism really shaped me for this ministry that I am presently in.
Okay.
I met with a lot of people who ordinarily I cannot have access to.
You wouldn't have met, okay?
And if not because of the training that I had as a literature evangelist, I won't be able to go and penetrate the government house.
Okay.
It will be difficult for you to just go to the government house and just walk in.
Walk in, yeah.
But because of the training, I have been able to penetrate places that ordinarily I cannot go there. It taught me how to be very bold and confident, to approach people that are not approachable.
Okay.
And I have been able to learn how to relate with people as well. Okay. If you don't relate with people well, you won't be able to succeed in literature evangelism. And then patience. You need to be patient, because there are times that you will go out in a particular day, you will walk all the streets in the hot sun with the heavy books, and you will not make
no sales.
Not even a single sale. And then I have experiences of people that were attached to me for training. Okay. After 2-3 days, they dropped their bags and they went away.
Off. Yeah. And yet you did this for 9 years.
I did it for 9 years.
And God was with you all through, opening doors, and you eventually made a turnaround sometime after this.
Yes.
We'll come back and talk about what transpired after the literature evangelist ministry, and we hope that your story will still be a blessing.
Hope so.
Don't go away. We'll be right back. Damascus Encounter is the program, and our guest on the show today is Ishaya Zachariah, who is telling his story of how God led him as a result of his decision not to work on the Sabbath day. 9 years of literature evangelism, and then something happened 2004. Do you want to tell us that?
Before 2004, in 2002,
okay,
I got a call that the Hausa language producer for Adventist World Radio Nigeria was at the conference headquarters, and he would want to have a recording with my singing group.
All right.
So I came down to the conference, met with him, and he told us that he has come to record songs that he will be using in his programs. So he needed to meet with singing groups, and then it was only my singing group that was available. So we arranged and came for the recording. Okay. After the recording, being someone that has passion for media, I had time with him, asked him a series of questions. how he got employed, what AWR's mission is. Before then, I had never listened to AWR, but I have been seeing the adverts on our lesson quarterlies. Okay. So he explained everything to me. So we did the music thing and we left. You know, as young persons, we have done the singing. He has recorded and he has taken away. The next thing is we are keen to hear the song played in any of the programs. So I bought my transistor radio and started listening to Adventist World programs. And I just became in love. I fell in love with Adventist World programs. So I was praying to God. I said, I wish that I become a worker of Adventist World Radio. I want to be the presenter of Adventist World Radio. But the question was, there's someone there already working.
So how do I get in?
How will I get into that place? And even if it is just to go and become an intern or just do voluntary work. But I just had that passion too. So, but all through that period, for about 4 years, I've been applying to the Polytechnic to study mass communication.
Okay.
Each year, I won't get admission. So a particular lecturer in the Department of Mass Communication, Kaduna Polytechnic, have been struggling to help me get admission. Getting admission into mass communication and accounting in Kaduna Polytechnic then was very, very big competition. It is who you know that will help you to get admission. So the lecturer tried. For 4 years, there was no admission. So in 2004, he was now appointed as the acting HOD of Mass Communication Department.
Okay.
So he called me and said, Ishaya, I need the photocopy of your application form and your admission card. I need it in my office by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I said, okay. No, he said by 10 o'clock. They are going for Senate meeting to vote admissions. And he has slots for students.
Yeah.
So he needs all those information so that he will go and present his own candidates. I said, it's okay. So, but before then, I got a call from the conference president that I should come and see him. I came to the office. He now told me that the Adventist World Radio director from Babcock University would have loved to talk with me, but he left a message. I said, what message is it? He now asked me, would you like to work with the church? I said, I'm already working with the church as a literature evangelist. He said, no, if you get appointment, will you go? Because I learned you have been struggling to go back to school. I said, yes. It depends on the nature of the work. If I weigh the work, I might accept or not.
Okay.
So he said, okay, that the director of Adventist World Radio Nigeria called and that they need a producer. I said, it's okay. I said, this is what I had wanted.
Exactly what I've always prayed for.
The opportunity is coming. But I made up my mind that I wanted to go back to school because I found out that people that those that were even behind me had started, gotten their degrees, but I was nowhere. And people will just be saying, look at these people. All they know is just to go rehearse, come and sing. They don't want to go to school. But people don't know the struggles that we were making in order to get admission. And then because of the nature of northern Nigeria, security-wise, I didn't want to travel far away from Kaduna City. That was why I was stuck with Kaduna Polytechnic. So I told him, okay, I've heard, sir. He said, so can you get 2 or 3 people you write? I was the youth leader of my district then. He said I should get 2 or 3 more people and then we apply. I said it's okay. So I called 2 people and asked them to apply. I didn't apply.
Okay.
The following day, my father came back in the evening from work. He works with the conference. He came back and he said, the conference president said you should come tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. That the Adventist World radio director is around for interview. I said, but I didn't apply. He said, well, that is the instruction. Come tomorrow for interview. So I said, but tomorrow I have appointment at 10 o'clock with the acting HOD of Mass Communication Department. I told my mother, I said, I'm not going for that interview. She said, why? I said, I want to go back to school. This is the time that I'm going to get this admission, and then this job thing is coming up. I'm going for the admission thing. In the morning after devotion, she now told me, my son, go for the 2. I said, how? The interview is for 9 o'clock. The other appointment is for 10 o'clock. Go for the interview. When you finish, you rush to the Polytechnic and then see the HOD. I said, it's okay. In the morning, we dressed up. My dad took me on his bike. We came to the conference headquarters. We were waiting for the interview. And the interview did not begin till after 10. And I was the first candidate that came in. After the interview, I picked my bag and my books. I was to go for my normal canvassing and then the HOD. So I went to the HOD's office straight. When I got there, the secretary told me he has already gone for meeting. And where we have 3 campuses in Kaduna City. He left for the main campus that was far away again from where I was. And you cannot go to the Senate building and see the HOD easily.
Out, yeah.
It's not that easy. So I just concluded, well, I have lost the admission. And then after the interview, the director now said, okay, I will report back to the union. You will be contacted in a month's time, and so you will hear what the outcome of the interview was. So I left. After an hour, I got a call from my father. Where are you? I said, I'm at a particular place. He said, why did you leave? Rush and come back to the headquarters. I said, what for? He said that the conference president said he wants to see you. I said, but they said that the result of the interview will be out in a month's time. He said, come over. So I rushed, I came. As I was entering the conference headquarters, the director was leaving for Abuja. So I entered. The president, as I entered the office of the president, he now told me, Ishaya, sit down. I sat. He said, congratulations. I said, for what, sir? He said, you have gotten the job. I said, what job? He said, the presenter of Adventist World Radio Hausa language. There was no excitement in me. Truly, there was no excitement because 1, I was sad. I have missed the admission, which was my priority. And 2, I remember that the director asked me on phone, are you a graduate? I said, I'm not a graduate. He said, we prefer graduates because most people who will come after a year, their ambition is, I want to go back to school. And then the programs will start suffering again. So they prefer someone that has already graduated from the university. And I told myself, I said, I will go there and just frustrate myself. Babcock University is a place where you have a lot of graduates. And then I'm going there as a school cert holder to become the producer. No, I don't think I can cope with that. He said, the director said you should prepare and come over because the African Regional Director for Adventist World Radio is coming for a training and you have to be at the training. So I came. Came to Babcock University for the training. When I came, the training was over, but I still did not have that desire to stay. I went to see Pastor Sunday Didam Audu, who is the present Dean of Student Affairs. I told him, sir, the training is done. I'm going back, but I won't come back. He said, why? I told him, my spirit is not here. I feel that I will not fit into the system. After he counseled me, I went back and I came back. And today I am the producer of Adventist World Radio.
Okay, very interesting story, very interesting journey, and I'm quite sure that there is more of what God did in your life, your encounter with Jesus, especially working with Adventist World Radio, and how God has brought lives to Him as a result of your own ministry now.
Yeah.
But we'll come back and talk about it in the next edition of the program, where we'll be sharing your experiences working as Adventist World Radio and what God has been able to do through you. Thank you for being on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
That will be all on today's edition of the program Damascus Encounter. We have listened to our guest who has shared his journey from being literature evangelist to the producer for Adventist World Radio, but what transpired after that, we'll be talking about that on the next edition of the Damascus Encounter. Until we meet again, stay blessed and so long.